Does the perfect saddle exist? Well, maybe. These guys are trying. This is a brand called Posedla. And here's the saddle here. They messaged me after Rouler last year and sent me out a kit to get set up on the perfect custom 3D printed saddle. So let's go over the setup and how we got here in the first place. Just a quick heads up guys, this was sent to me for free, but as usual, no affiliate links or anything. This is just my genuine review on how it has worked for me. So kicking it off, they send you one of these. It's a smiling butt kit, and effectively, you sit down on it and it takes a perfect imprint of your butt. You then take a picture of this box from all sides, 8 corners, and that way they can get like a perfect 3D imprint of your butt. Finally, it takes you online where you answer a bunch of questions, you know, your riding position, how much do you weigh, what kind of distances do you normally do, this affects the firmness or the softness of the saddle. They then also ask if you want extra stuff, like you can send them a picture of your current position, how you're set up on the bike, things that always go wrong. For example, you always get saddle sores on the left, as a brief example. And they take this all into account, they build it all together, and then finally they send you one of these, your custom printed 3D saddle designed for your butt. So let's go into the review and how has this worked for me? So I kind of want to kick this review off with weight and price and just get these out of the way to begin with. Here's my one. As you can see, it comes in here at 174 grams, which for a saddle is a decently lightweight. Not ultra light, not around that 100 gram mark, but and some of them are around like 50 to 60, but plenty good enough. Then they do have various ranges in their setup. So they have the Plus is like their normal version, saves you a bit of money, but adds on a little bit of weight. Then we've got the Pro version, which is what they have sent me here, which is another further 100 pounds, gonna be about 50 grams lighter-ish, depending on your one, and kind of the middle of the road in their setup. Finally, they have the Ultra, which is kind of like the Pro, but very slightly lighter. Don't really see the purpose of this one because it's like an extra 70 pounds here in the UK for, well, like 10 grams it seems. So yeah, I don't think that one's worth it, but decision's up to you. I'll come back to whether I think the price is worth it in the conclusions. Let's get to a first category on the actual review. So the first part of the review, I want to talk about where I'm actually sitting on the saddle, because for the first time ever in my life, this saddle puts me on where I feel like I should have been sitting the whole time. Historically, I've always sat further forward towards the nose. My weight and pressure has kind of been there. Basically, the pubis and ischium, where they're fused, I've got like a little knobble there, which I did tell them in the setup, and they accounted for that. And yeah, that for the first time has allowed me to actually sit on my sit bones rather than the softer area further forward. And I've actually kind of had to retrain where I sit. So initially I thought, oh, the saddle might not be too comfortable, but actually as I got used to riding the saddle in the correct position, further back, kind of around this section here, my butt started to get used to it and it started to become really comfortable. Gonna go more into comfort in a bit. So comfort on this thing, it's unreal, absolutely unreal. I personally have never been so comfortable on a saddle. Now please take this into account, like, I've never had a saddle before where it seemed I was sitting in the right position. I've tried so many of them, tens of saddles. And once I got used to that position where the saddle wanted me to sit again, as if I was like a new cyclist again, yeah, it became amazing. And it didn't take long. It took like less than a week for that to happen, which is really cool. I literally get zero rubbing, zero friction on this, which is a really good thing. No friction down the sides, no rubbing my legs in the middle, super nice. On the comfort front here, I've tried quite a few brands of shorts with it. Rafa, Q36.5, MAP, Universal Colors, MBO, Lameda. They all seem to work and gel really well with the saddle, which has finally shown me just how having the right shape perfect for you is so much more important on the saddle than almost anything else. Then there's firmness on the saddle. The saddle actually started really firm. I was like, oh my God, that's a really hard saddle. But actually after about a week, it fully kind of broke itself in and slowly got softer and softer till it's at the point where it is now. So yeah, kind of expect it for the first week to be fairly firm and then it seems to soften up after about a week and you're going to be good. Yeah, I genuinely never thought I would find a saddle that suited me perfectly until now. But there are some negatives which I'm going to get into later, but there's a few more things I want to talk about first. Post-ride pain on the saddle, again for me, has been the best I've ever experienced. Again, that kind of first week I kind of noticed it a lot. And once it got used to that new position where I'm supposed to be sitting, if I just do like a one-off, even like a long ride, 4 or 5 hours, 100K, whatever, I can't feel anything when I sit down on a couch, a sofa, a chair afterwards, after having this saddle. Again, the first time I've ever experienced this. Then I took this bike out to Mallorca. I did day after day after day for a full 7 days in a row. And again, normally, you know how you get on your saddle the next day and you're like, oh, the first thing that hurts is your butt and you can feel it for ages. Well, on this one here, I can genuinely, when you're doing that day after day riding, I can feel it for about 2 or 3 minutes and then it's like gone, it's like reset. And for the rest of the ride, I can't feel my butt again. That is so cool. And then finally, on the topic of like post-riding pain, saddle sores for me have always been an issue, no matter which saddle I've bought, wider, narrower, flatter, more curved, doesn't matter. I've always got saddle sores, bilateral. This is the first saddle where, I'm not gonna say they don't happen, because I always get them, but it's the first saddle where I've noticed a massive reduction in them afterwards and a massive reduction in the intensity of them. You know, when they're just like really sore and really pinpointed and you can feel it. Yeah, not with this. They're kind of just like a small area where you're like, maybe that's a bit more sensitive today. So it hasn't removed them completely, but it's turned them from something that lasts all week into something that kind of lasts like a day. And I seem to be getting them far, far less frequently as well. Okay, here's something I didn't expect to feel from this, but it's the stability of the saddle. When you have a saddle that fits you perfectly, the bike does become more stable. The place where I notice it most is when you're kind of going slowly uphill and you want to take your hands off the bars. It's very easy to cycle with no hands, even at slow speeds on this saddle, just because I feel like I have so much more control and grip of the bike with my butt. Sounds weird, but it's true. Effectively, because of this, I also feel like it's made descending handling better as well. Just because, like I said, yeah, you've got more control of another area of the bike. I never thought that would make a difference in my life. I never thought so. But yeah, having a good saddle improves the handling of your bike. What about grip on the saddle? Do you move around much at all on this thing? And happy to report, no. It's absolutely solid. It's very grippy. My butt doesn't slide around anywhere. And once I select a position, it stays in that position, which is really good. Now again, long term, as the saddle wears and smooths out a little bit, it might become a little bit slippier. But in the early mileage here, it's been great. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering about how cleaning the thing, because it's always so holy, you always think it's going to be like really dirty inside and stuff. Just splash it with water and that tends to be just fine, gets you through. All the mud runs out. One thing I will say, I mean, it does hold water afterwards, so if you tilt your bike up, you're probably going to get quite a lot of drips of water just once, but yeah, it kind of dries over half a day and it's fine. Top of all this, they do actually do a few more custom bits. So first of all, as you can see, I've asked for my name in there. Well, I mean, you can have anything you want written in there, but I've just had Jason. I guess if you have many saddles and your partner does or your friends do, then you're not going to get them confused if you're taking saddles off and on all the time. Next up, this thing is also customizable. I went for white just to kind of match my decals a little bit. But yeah, you can choose, they've got pretty much most colors for this. In all honesty, I probably should have just gone for black. I think that would look better. And finally, it doesn't look like you can change them out, or if you can change them, if you're getting closely here, you can see I tried to get underneath it and push it out and I cracked it. So choose the right color in the first place. If you can't choose a color, you want it on multiple bikes, just go black. Okay, earlier I said there will be some negatives because let's be honest, nothing is perfect. And here are the things that I found that didn't quite gel with me on this saddle. Kicking it off is the aero position. You guys know what I mean when you tuck down, forearms are flat, elbows bent at 90 degrees. In the past, I've got very used to short nose saddles, and you can see here that this as well, it's quite a traditional long nose saddle. And I will say this front end here, I feel like gets in the way, it's a little bit restrictive of that forward tilt. So I've actually tilted it an extra further degree down, just so I can find it more comfortable on the front when I'm holding that aero position. So yeah, basically the front of the nose just feels like it gets in the way of that anterior rotation a little bit to hold that position. I think something to consider if you're doing a lot of racing on this, obviously when you're in the normal seated upright position, not a problem at all. Right, the next negative that I want to point out on the saddle is probably just more of a me problem, but I've kind of got used to like a time trial bike and time trial position where I like to be further over and further forward on the bike. And historically on every other bike that I've had, because I sit further forward, I do normally have a little bit of space on the back of the rails here, but as you can see on this version, my saddle is railed all the way forwards. And that's to get me in the right position, pedaling position, with my sit bone still sitting back here. I'm kind of used to sitting on this part of the saddle, but yeah, I'm kind of a few centimeters back this time. So to kind of counter for this a little bit, I've always gone for a normal offset seat post to add a bit of flex, but I've ordered a 0 offset seat post because I still want to get the saddle just 1 more centimeter, 5 or 10 mil further forward to get it in that perfect position. This has put my bum further backwards to sit in the correct place. Numbness. This is something I do want to talk about. I have found with this particular saddle that after those really, really long rides, like anything like 120k plus, where you're out on the bike for like 4, 5, 6 hours, I've noticed 2 or 3 times where I've just had to stand out the saddle just to get a bit of blood flow or take some pressure off any nerves down there, basically just to get some feeling back in the gentleman area. Normally on like a short nose saddle, something more akin to this is my time trial bike, it might happen once I stand up out the saddle and it goes within like 30 seconds. But yeah, just on this saddle, I've noticed it happened like 2 or 3 times on that very long ride. Might be different for you. It's a very personal thing, so it's not really something that I found to be a problem for me. And I still wouldn't say that it happens a lot or frequently. That's just something I thought I better point out. Next up, if you need a saddle and you need it now, this obviously isn't going to be the one to go for because, well, they got to send you the kit first of all. You've got to take pictures, send that off, and then of course it takes time to make a saddle as well. And it can take anywhere from like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on, I guess, how busy they are and stuff. Mine took about 2.5 weeks to arrive. But yeah, it's just not that fast of a process. Do I really care? No, you're getting a custom printed saddle, so I would expect it to take a bit longer. I want to talk about in the negative section here is, well, the looks. Let's be totally honest here, guys. It's not a sexy saddle. It's kind of got that like retro, old school style look to it. You know, it's not like this like nice, like slim profile that I'm kind of getting used to looking at nowadays. Obviously, when you're on the bike, you can't see it, so it doesn't really matter when you're riding. But when you're off the bike, you certainly can, and I just don't think it's the nicest profile. Let's just say it doesn't add to the aesthetics of the bike. I think it generally takes a little bit of aesthetics away from it. Personal opinion, and once again, a very small thing, I just don't think it's a sexy saddle.
Durability is one of those topics that is really hard to talk about because I'm a sample size of 1. I don't have 15 of these saddles and you never know which one's going to fail, but so far so good. I mean, I'm only 2,000 kilometers into it. I've had it through winter, half of that's been winter riding indoors. So yeah, not exactly big mileage on the thing, so I can't say for the long-term durability of it. But one thing I will say is that when I look at the thing and look around the carbon and all the joins and where it's put together, I'm no engineer, but it looks fantastic. It feels like a well-built saddle. I haven't had a single creak, not a single bit of movement. So yeah, long term, I reckon this will be okay. And you know what, nowadays, I've used so many 3D printed saddles. They all seem to be absolutely fantastic. You would think that the top wears very quickly, but they don't. They just seem to last ages and ages nowadays. On the durability topic, guys, if you're watching this video a year, 2 years down the line and you're still wondering about it, drop me a message in the comments below and I'll happily reply and update to you there.
Okay, I want to put this section in here because I think it's important to talk about. And that is, because it has worked for me, doesn't mean that I can guarantee that this saddle is going to work for you. I've tried other custom stuff in the past. For example, these guys, they're custom made, custom cut goggles. And well, I just could not get them to seal. They always leaked and they were always very uncomfortable and stuff. I went through 3 different ones of them. They kept sending me new ones because they weren't working. And of course, that might be the case for you on this saddle as well. I can't guarantee if it's going to be perfect or not, but for me it worked first time. With all of that being said, guys, they do have some aftercare support. So if things aren't fitting perfectly after like the first week, they'll help you out, look at your position, try and change certain things. If that doesn't work, they'll send you another version of the saddle that should hopefully be better fitted and adapted to your butt. So there is that kind of like aftercare and maintenance that they should help you with if things aren't perfect for you. Because it bloody well should work for you, because it's quite expensive. Even the cheapest one is £300, the middle one £400, and that definitely rivals some of the most expensive saddles on the market. So that's going to lead me to the concluding question, is it worth it? From my experience, the answer is yes. You can definitely give it a go. If you already have a saddle that works perfectly for you, you don't get saddle sores, you can ride on it all day, I don't think you really need to try this, that's totally fine. But if you're like me and you've never ever had a saddle that feels perfect for you, this has worked. Of course guys, if you have any further questions, things that you think that I have missed in this video, stick them in the comments below. I reply to most things, or you can find me over here on Instagram, where you can either follow my daily shenanigans or message me privately. I reply to most things again. But apart from that, I've been Jason, this has been Cycling Unboxed, and I'll catch you in another video.